latest update on Banter for a Quest. I have seen that I have some problems loading into worlds. Is that only me or is it everybody?
We have had a couple of reports. Uh, so yeah, we're tracking that one right now. Thankfully, we also rolled out a new feature with that version, which was the ability to upload your logs. So we've got a number of logs, and we're digging through that. So hopefully, we'll have an answer for you there pretty soon on what's going wrong and be able to resolve it. Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
upload of the logs is definitely going to be a great help there.
Thank you, Shane.
Thank you. Oh no! Oh no! Shoseki wants me to step off and step back on. How's that, brother?
Was the head too big?
That good? Okay, so for any of you that haven't been here before, yeah, usually how this works is, like I say, you make your way up the beach up to the middle area there where the controls are, where you can see my face on the sand, and I'll answer your questions. And in the meantime, if nobody's there or nobody has any questions, then I'm just going to waffle on about whatever the hell I want because I'm here and I'm talking and you're listening and I have the opportunity. So, yeah, just make your way down the beach. I should also mention that sometimes I forget. I get caught up in my own waffle and I forget and there's somebody been standing there for a little while on the beach and sorry about that, but that's part of it, right? That's how it works. Yeah. So this is an interesting sized head I've got, right? Isn't it? Oh, Divine's there. Okay. You caught me there, Divine. Go ahead.
There's somebody going with his head there. Oh, Jesus.
I was just looking at your head on the ground.
Oh,
He
I
just wanted
see.
to
I
stand on his
understand.
head.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so this head, fun fact, is actually based on my my likeness. I have this hat. I own this hat in real life and this T-shirt. For those of you that can't read it, it says that I went outside once, but the graphics weren't that good. Hey, Proxide, what can I do you for? Sorry, let me position my head
Let
there
me
for
be a
you.
bit serious for a second, all right?
Oh no.
If you could make your head even smaller, how small would you be willing to go? That's my question.
Well,
What's
okay,
the limit?
This is okay. This is serious. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, so we've got to
This
talk
big.
about the density of the head because what's important to me is how dense the head is. I feel like there should be some sort of size to density ratio. If the head gets smaller,
Shit.
it must get more dense,
That makes sense.
right?
Ooh,
Like
so it might form a black hole eventually.
Yeah, black hole.
eventually, yeah. If my head gets so small, it will infinitely implode on itself
Oh,
down to
oh, gotta be
a
careful.
single point. Yeah, but that's
Well,
just the responsibility that we have when dealing with varying head sizes. It's I think one of the unique things about this platform is that people tend to lean into the whole varying head sizes. I've seen some crazy head sizes. You yourself were one of the
yes,
first to adjust
one
your head
in the
size.
beginning.
Well, I mean, let me ask you. Let me turn this around onto you.
Oh boy,
Tell me a bit
I
about
didn't
what was
prepare.
going on there. Why did you change the head size in the first place? Was yours
Well, it was
less dense when it was bigger?
not so much about density for me. No, it was more about what's the easiest thing that I can possibly do right now just to check the avatar system.
Ah,
If you need me, you know how to
Yeah,
find
so
me.
it
that's
was
funny you say that.
laziness, really.
Right. It was the same with Bob. Bob created this one where his head was all inflated like some sort of hot air balloon. It was honestly great. It looked really cool. But it was the same thing. He just slapped it
I
into
mean, he was the
Blender
first,
and
wasn't
just. He might have been the first. Yes, he might
he? I
have been
think
the
he was.
first.
Yes.
He
Anyone
might
else?
have been the first.
Help?
Anyone else want to talk about it a bit? Where's Ravioli? Ravioli, you had a big head earlier, right? You want to talk to us about it? Oh, Ravioli's. Oh, Rabbit's got something to say. Okay, Ravioli. I can't see you right now. I'm going to keep an eye out for you. But Rabbit, let's
There, you know.
let's talk
Speaking
to
of
you for the
heads,
meantime.
um,
Yes.
Nope.
Do you feel envious of mine?
Well, me, I could see why you would think that. Honestly, I could, and it's an impressive head. Not gonna lie, Rabbit. As rabbit heads go, you've got antlers, which is a plus, of course. But no, I like to go for the more compact. The nice little meat package.
The more sleek jet like.
Yeah, streamlined. Yeah, I'm with you. We're talking the same language. Thank you, Rabbit. I appreciate your input there.
Yep.
Steve, talk to us.
Oh, hi. I noticed your magnificent eyebrows on that head of yours, and I just wondered what they were made out of.
The eyebrows are made out of all the hopes and dreams of everybody on Altspace. Right? That's what they did. They packed them into these eyebrows. And
You're right. They must be quite condensed then. Yes.
Originally, they were honestly, if anybody remembers, they were actually in the lips originally, but it was just too overbearing, too overpowering. People just couldn't. They couldn't do it. They couldn't bear it. You couldn't come to an event and try to take me seriously with these lips containing all of their hopes and dreams. Those lips are available on Sketchfab, by the way. If anybody wants them, you can help yourself. My lips are 100% on Sketchfab. So they're bigger than these ones, though, because those ones on Sketchfab, I made a copy before they took out all the hopes and dreams. So no, they're free. You can help yourself. You can take those lips. You can do whatever you want with them. They're my lips, but you can have fun. Go to town. Go ahead, Ark. This is a beautiful waffling situation. You're a perfect candidate to.
Well, you've just opened up so many existential questions. I don't know how I can follow up after this.
Oh well, this is where we stand, right? This is where. By the way, we have a tech waffle tomorrow, where we do basically the same as this, except for it's got a bit of a tech spin on it. So, but anyway,
well, this is kind of halfway between both of those, I guess.
Tech events. Go ahead, Ark. Tell me what have you got?
So something I've been curious about for a while. Mixed reality is, one of the bigger selling points of the Quest 3. At least they tried to market it that way. And one of the games that actually genuinely showed off, what it's capable of is Demio when it's in mixed reality, which is super cool. I don't think anybody argues that. And I've seen numerous people, especially myself, pressing the idea, what would be really cool is to have more mixed reality games that are evolved versions, whether you're talking about, legacy, games like even Monopoly, but you can optionally layer in additional, things, different additional mechanics that would not be possible. And the reason why I specifically mentioned that, one of the problems for, VR, XR, whatever we want to call it, is, the friction that comes with, people learning, just the technology in general, and on top of having to learn the games that they're using. That's 2 layers of friction. Whether you're talking flat screen or VR, learning a game takes a degree of, resistance for people to overcome. Something like, Monopoly, that, is an evolved version of it in mixed reality, removes the friction of people being cut off from, the outside world, but they already know how to play Monopoly or a game, and that's in that category, whatever game you want to pick. So the game becomes a teaching method for how to use, a virtual reality headset, but without cutting people off and making them feel like they're still grounded to the, their surroundings, their friends and family. You sit around, an actual IRL, table. You have your holographic projection of, whatever legacy game you want to take in, and you demonstrate how much of an evolution this is in board games. That's one dynamic of board games. And also you can have completely fundamentally new ones like Demio, and it lets people, much more comfortably, in my opinion, graduate into, XR adoption. This is my opinion. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but I think that is a better way, at least one of the many better ways to help bring people into the world of virtual reality. So take all that I've rambled on about together. I'm just kind of surprised that there hasn't been more of a push to bring things like, evolved versions of classic games into, the XR space, because I think that's just such an obvious use case, and it would make it so much easier for people to say, hey, this is kind of cool. Maybe I do want to do this. So you take all that, go whatever you want with it. But do you get where I'm going with that? I'm just surprised it hasn't happened yet. When is it going to happen? Because, it's such an obvious use case, and it's pretty much not happening. So I'll let you go with that.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you, Ark. Very interesting thoughts there, as always. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting, right? I think what you're describing is kind of something that will have a tendency to sort of accelerate adoption, right? Because maybe you reach a tipping point within your circle of friends that enough people now have a headset, and then other people are going to be incentivized to buy them, and that's kind of that perfect sort of organic word of mouth advertising that would drive that kind of stuff. The benefits you point out are also, you're right on the money. One of the biggest problems with VR is how isolating it is, how antisocial it is in the real world. So mixed reality is kind of the perfect solution to that. Apple clearly took that very seriously with, the whole fake eyes on the front of the headset and the clear focus on pass-through over anything else. So clearly, some important people recognize how important that transition period is, and how do we go from a social group of people to a group of people wearing this kind of technology potentially? Yeah, right. And I mean, the truth is, it depends on what you're doing. But typically, if you're in, say, a game like this with an open mic and you're moving around, possibly, then multiple people in the same room is straight away a bit of a safety hazard. But in a mixed reality setting, a bunch of people sitting around a table, playing any kind of tabletop game, because that's what you're talking about, right? It's every sort of tabletop game, which, I guess there's limitations there. You could hear one side of the argument that VR is kind of meant to blow our minds and do all the amazing things, not replicate what we really want to do. But honestly, the truth is, I kind of feel like we find out time and time again that people relate more to something that's closer to a real life thing than something that's crazy and out there. And people somehow often really enjoy doing very simple, mundane things like power washing or fishing in VR, right?
Yep.
Even though arguably
Amen.
those could be chores, if you want to call it that, right? But uh, yeah, I think what you'll find is that as we move more into the future, the kind of content that we see, as the content pool grows and grows, it will become more varied, and we'll have more of these specific use cases, more games that are geared towards casual gaming rather than the sort of intense gaming focus that we're seeing at the minute. I think we're still in that phase, right, where the headsets are VR headsets. We probably need a generation or two more to get to potentially a certain comfort position, really more than anything else, uh, in order to make it a more casual, more ubiquitous device that you can wear more often, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I definitely think what you say is correct, and it's a timing thing. I think at a certain point there's a tipping point, and enough people in a friend group have it, and there's enough content to choose from that it's a no-brainer to spend $300 on a headset and enter the ecosystem with everything in the world at your fingertips, right? But right now, we're talking about less than 10,000 pieces of content in VR. We really need that next phase, that next, uh, you know, uh, big, big drive. Oh, I hear Tal is talking in the background. I'm gonna improvise a segment here and put Tal on megaphone just for a second and see what's what's Tala's hot take on
Ooh, other people. Oh yeah, I have a lot of
on
hot
the new.
takes.
Okay, go ahead. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. You go ahead. What's
I
your
feel
hot
like
take on
people
any topic you want?
in response to that last thing, I think like applications do too much. In the end of the day, like the best thing about these applications is just like having a place to find people and socialize. Everything else is just like sparkles and fluff, and it really doesn't matter. Like when people try to upgrade content and I don't know, just add a bunch of things to their applications. All that does is like create more bugs and more problems. And like all I really care about is meeting people. And the only suggestion I have is to add like a nearby chat box where I can talk to people in world in case I don't like want to use my voice, or if my child is sleeping and I want to type to people. not just like direct message, but like message people in world. That's it.
Well, I appreciate
That's
that, and
it.
that's a great response to being randomly put on the spot. So nice work
Oh
on that.
my gosh,
Really
my
good.
heart is pounding. Also, I want poetry. I want a poetry slam, and I want to know how to make events here, like I used to do in Altspace.
I
Like
told you I
poetry
thought
slams.
about that.
And people are gonna help me with that, but like I just have to like get my
Yeah.
schedule to not be so crazy.
I hear you. Well, you know, there's
Yeah.
plenty of your family here with us, so I'm sure people are eager to jump in and help there if you want to get set up. And poetry slam sounds great. Sounds great. Honestly,
It's already
I
in
might
the
take
works of coming.
There you go.
Yes. Ooh, somebody
There
co-host
we
with
go.
me.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Expression
That's
of
it.
interest, folks.
Ooh,
We're
I'm
looking for
so
a poetry
nervous. Why you
slam
do that to me,
co-host.
Shane? Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Rabbit, go
welcome.
ahead. What have you got for us? Something
I just want
special?
to kind of add a question to what you're just talking about with the evolution of all this. I don't know if anybody's seen it. There's a movie out there, a few years old, called Surrogate. Basically, people get into a pod, a giant VR set, and live a
Is that
normal
Bruce
life.
Willis?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Do
That's
you
cool.
think it'll ever get to that point?
Oh, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
You'll go to work, you'll go
Probably.
party, you'll go do whatever with a fake
Probably.
person in the real world as you're just laying like a blob in a pod.
I mean, that's crazy, really. I mean, that's probably years and years away before we have, biped, you know, probably biomechanical robots at that point. And yeah, I mean, obviously some kind of brain integration with the people who are driving them, let's say. So that's probably a long time away. But I don't know. If you ask Elon Musk, he'd probably tell you it's going to happen in the next 5 years. He just
It's a
slap
good watch. You should
Neuralink
watch it.
and the Tesla robot together.
Oh yeah.
But
Just think you can be forever young.
yeah, that's really interesting. Well, tell you what, I've got one for you, Rabbit, and maybe I'll go around the room with this one and see what
Oh
people
shit, I'm
think.
sorry.
That's okay. You can stay wherever you are, or you can come down to the beach. That's cool too. Now, if you could upload your consciousness to the internet, and in doing so, this is very Black Mirror, by the way, but in doing so, sacrifice your
In other words, like
meat,
transcendence.
flesh. Yeah. I guess for all intents and purposes, yeah. Would you transcend?
That's a good question because yes, because of all the opportunities and the experiences you could do at once, but then at the same time, if you don't have a flesh and bone, you miss on other experiences of life and family.
Yeah, that's true. But you probably live forever. So I imagine those concepts could just fall away.
But the thing is, though, would you live forever as like you'd be in a computer, but in your mind being in that computer, would it be a fantasy like this, or would it feel like you're in a box?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I imagine
No.
if you could be in a fantasy world like this, you can probably have enough sensory input to be able to also see the world around you and be able to perceive and understand various inputs. I honestly don't know. I've never transcended myself. As much as I might sound like I know everything about it, but I would
live forever
imagine
as a vampire. Sure.
I imagine that you would, exist as some kind of super intelligence, some artificially, guided intelligence, and that you would be able to probably be able to access feeds to be able to see the world and understand the world in the real.
Some say we live in a simulation now. Who knows? We ain't doing it already.
I mean, we kind of are, right? Because that's kind of what we're doing right now, pretty much, right?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
The
didn't mean to keep
Amazon
shooting you in
show
the head
upload.
there. Yes. Go ahead, Pony.
Yes.
I've megaphoned you. Talk to us. People getting their
Well,
heads cut off.
Yes, you've seen the show, but it's pretty much what you was just saying. Where when you come to the end of your natural life, you carry on uploading yourself. That's
Yeah.
that's a good way of thinking about it. That would definitely
Reset.
Would you do
yes.
it?
Yeah, oh yes, I'd do it.
Nice. Nice. What was your answer, by the way, Rabbit? Did you say you would or you wouldn't?
I would
wouldn't?
probably. Just I
Right.
would.
That's interesting. Well,
Mess
Ark,
with people.
let's open with, would you or would you not?
I wouldn't. My reason is because I'm not entirely sure that our. I can see that the information that it makes up who I am might be able to be transferred into into a computer. I'm not sure without the biological infrastructure though if the essence of what it means to have my experiences. I mean, for lack of a better word, the soul. I mean, who knows whatever that is or isn't, or even if it is a thing. But I don't know if that would translate into a program. I mean, in Star Trek, Data even was concerned about that in that season where it was the measure of a man, and he said he wasn't sure if they were able to capture the essence, the meaning of those things. Yes, the information might be there. I don't know if what it means to be me actually would transfer there. So it's like I don't know, and I don't know how you would ever. I don't know how you would ever falsifiably know that.
Oh, spoiler alert, by the way, if anybody hasn't seen Transcendence. That's maybe 5 minutes too late, but I'll just throw that out there. But yeah, especially with what Arca's just saying, because that really gets into it, right? But
Hold on, I'm loading screen.
yeah, I mean, honestly, you're gonna get points from me for a Star Trek reference out of the gate. So yeah,
That was
Data,
perfect.
insightful.
Yep, but what Rabbit asked was a perfect segue into what I wanted to also ask then. It's another metaphysical question, and I actually asked this on Between Realities the other day, and Alex didn't even know what to think about this. He didn't think so, but we're going to go a bit dark trippy here for a second. So let's, I don't know if the science is even possible for this, but let's just say it is. We skip how it would be possible. We get to the point where we
have an open mind here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we have reached the point where we can have matrix level interaction. I mean, like your brain literally does not understand whether this is a simulation or the real biological experience that's going on, right? So, was the Matrix right when Morpheus said if you get killed in the Matrix, it actually does kill you? Because think about this from a response of the body. So your biological body has not actually been shot, but your brain believes it has. Wouldn't that trigger things like shock and trauma, even though that's not actually happening? It tries to do those kind of things without the reason for those things happening. I don't think anybody has any concept at any level, no matter how smart they are and educated they are, what that would do to us. I mean, that's completely uncharted territory. But anyway, I'm not sure the Matrix is wrong. If you could get to that point, I think if you experienced strictly mental injuries that your brain completely believes, I think it might actually kill you. Not just from like a heart attack, like you're freaking out, like just your body not knowing how to respond to things that it believes are happening that actually aren't. And not just that, the metaphysics of that, what does that mean to you more broadly, not just with that specific nuanced scenario, as far as if we ever get to that point where your brain cannot distinguish between what's biologically real versus what's simulated, the perception of real. So I'll let you go with that.
Oh, that's a crazy one, and I love it.
And Alex didn't know the answer to that either. He didn't think so, but he was like, I don't know, man.
Okay, so the plot of the Matrix, we could be absolutely living that out. Right now, we have until about 2060 until we give birth to AI and spawn a race of machines that will take over everywhere. And we could absolutely be headed down that track. But I mean, yeah. So apparently, right, you can die from a broken heart, right? Apparently you can experience mental trauma that can manifest as physical illness, sickness, that kind of stuff.
Sure, it would give you somebody you love.
Pseudo death.
Yeah, I mean, well, not anything really, it could be almost anything. I mean that's my basic limited understanding, and I don't understand. This is based on nonsense I've read on Reddit or stuff I've seen on House. But I mean, it certainly seems like there is a potential impact that can occur, right? You can have like an extreme version of a panic attack, which could cause you to have some kind of cardiac arrest situation where you could die. Okay, but look, hands up, everybody, right? Who was thinking of that headset that Palmer Luckey built with all those things strapped onto the front of it, and he made that post, and it's like, what if you died in VR? You died in real life, right? And it was literally like, it was hooked up to potentially do that. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess is my response to that. I wouldn't be surprised if something were like that were possible, right? And that maybe some form of almost being brain dead in the future could occur to somebody where something happened to them in a virtual situation. I mean, the truth is, we're all really treading in unknown territory in terms of the long-term impacts of these kinds of things, right? And we're all out there and putting ourselves out there and being kind of vulnerable, let's say, to what what can happen with the sort of sensory input that we're involved in right here, right? And God knows what could happen. Iron Wolf, I see you've got your hand up, but also the Protates also had their hand up. I'll maybe see what they want to say first. Go ahead. Have you got a question? Oh, isn't it funny how me up there sort of watches them as they jump away? Your megaphone for the world. You got any thoughts at all you'd like to share? You had your hand up. No? Is there any chance you might be too young to be on the platform? Any chance you could just talk to me a little bit to make me feel okay about that? Talk to us all. Like I
Nope.
say, your megaphone. Nope. Okay, that's fine. That's enough. Thank you. I will unmegaphone you. That's no problem. Go ahead, Iron Wolf.
Yeah, I was thinking about when you have a nightmare and you wake up and your heart is pounding really hard as well.
Yes.
Actually, that's just from your head, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's actually an interesting thought. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you can get into that state just by dreaming, then you probably can do it in some kind of VR or anything else as well.
Yes. So they've done studies that show that our brains basically behave the same when we're watching somebody else perform a task compared to when we perform that task ourselves, especially when we're learning from somebody else and then sort of replicating what they do. So, I mean, it suggests that we can make up fantasies in our mind that, can potentially have impact on us in ways that the similar physical things can do in the real world, right? So, yeah, God knows what that could mean, and I'm sure we'll find out in years to come, and we'll all be victims to it, I'm sure. But yeah, who cares? We're having a great time.
So you're saying
Uh,
we're all guinea pigs?
exactly. Yeah, willing, completely. But yeah, we're all here. We've all got reasons. We've all got stuff we're trying to escape. Let's do it. Yay!
Yes, my life has
Right? Let's call on somebody at random. Simon in the corner. Simon's been doing some great little drawings and posting them in our event snaps recently. Uh, you like this? You like how I just improv these little segments just to keep the flow going, right? When people don't have questions, I'm cool with that. I can just waffle. Go ahead, Simon. Tell
Yeah.
us what's your inspiration when you come to draw these? What do you treasure?
I think partly it used to be a habit of mine. So I used to get into a lot of trouble at school when I was supposed to be working. I used to be sketching instead. But luckily, well, on quite a few occasions, the teacher was sort of kind of pleased. I'd done a drawing of the teacher, and they'd be sort of like they'd be sort of angry, but pleased with the drawing, sort of thing, because I suppose they would think it would be some sort of grotesque caricature, and it wasn't. It was actually quite a sort of nice sort of drawing of. So I kind of like fumbled my way through school doing a lot of sketching. And then I
Nice.
sort of fell out of the habit of it, and I just was in Banter a couple of weeks ago, and I just thought, well, is there a in-browser drawing app that you can use? And I did find one, but it was really difficult to use. I'm not very digitally sort of orientated, like obviously a lot of you guys are. So it's a big learning curve, but it's good fun.
Yeah. Well, they look great. People are definitely
Right,
impressed
thank
with
you.
them.
Thank you very
So
much.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Simon. yeah. So Trey, we've got Trey
Hey.
who wants to ask a question.
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
know. I know I can ask this in the Discord, but I said, what the heck? I'm here. So let me go and ask. So how in the world I've had like animated issue importing animated like assets. Like for instance, I'll have like an animated bird and I'll put it in Unity in my project and I'll upload and like the animation doesn't work. So is there documentation on that or can somebody, send me information on that or how does that work
That's
about as far as inserting animated objects like FBX or DLB
that,
objects, animated objects?
that's a great question, and actually, there's maybe some other people in the room that might be better equipped for that. But
I
I
have a
see
question for him.
I see Divine Slayer waving there in the background. I've already pre-megaphoned her, so yeah, go right
Have
ahead.
you turned on loop for the animation?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, then I don't know your problem.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. Okay.
Wow,
Go over
you
Gary's
seem
side.
really confident. Right, just going for it. Loop? No. Ah, crap.
Okay.
Oh. I mean, generally, when you're talking about animations in Unity, there really shouldn't be all that much that's different from what I understand, from running things in the editor and bringing them
Yeah,
into
it's an
Banter.
animated
It's
object I got off of Sketchfab.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it a GLB?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Uh, all I would say is that maybe there's some differences in how those get imported depending on how you're importing them, right? Because GLBs, they're not natively supported by Unity yet, although I believe that is coming. They don't work just like FBXs in terms of how they get imported. So you would need to, yeah, yeah. I think when it comes to bringing those in, you would need to be careful, make sure that all the animations are kind of imported as Unity animations, and they're not using any custom scripts from some GLTF loading library in order to load that up inside of the editor. Because any kind of custom scripts, any custom C# scripts, stuff like that, they will just be stripped at runtime, and none of those will run. So something like that could have an impact on a GLB. It's hard to say.
Uh,
Maybe it would be a good idea to follow up with this in Discord too, if you wanted to
okay.
take a video like you usually do of what's going on in Unity whenever you import the GLB, and maybe show it when it's animating
Okay.
in the video as well. That'd
Okay.
be great.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, some other people maybe can chime in that might know more than me about that too in Discord too. So
Okay.
that'll be great.
Okay.
Cheers, Trey. Okay, you had your hand up again. What's
Yeah. What's this? If you don't mind me asking, what's this whole meeting about? Like, is it like? Because I need to know if it's important, like, for me to listen to, or
nah, it's good. You can just hang out there and just jump around and poke people in the face and stuff. It's cool.
Oh, hi, bro.
Don't worry about it. It's just nonsense, really. I'm just this big fool standing up here and putting my head on the beach, like
Bro, how do you even
on
get
this
up there?
big thing. You can't see it, right? Because I think you joined the room late. But maybe if I do this, maybe you'll see that, right? Is that more?
Oh,
Now, look, you're up there too. Welcome. Look, you're up in the middle of
yeah,
an
great.
event that you've no idea what it's about. So tell
Yeah.
us, what's your what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Oh, okay, let's see. So,
Nobody tell him what it's about, by the way.
wow.
What did you have? Anything?
Okay.
Nothing?
So I had sausage and eggs,
Oh,
I guess. Yeah.
eggs. What kind of eggs? How do you have your eggs in the morning?
I don't really know. I just get my mum to cook them, so however she
Oh,
cooks them.
oh, nice. Were they like round with sunny side up, or were they scrambled, or were they
Yeah,
uh
they're round eggs.
round? Okay, beautiful. Okay, well there you go. Sausage and eggs, ladies and gentlemen. Did you have any bread with it? Maybe a baguette? A little bit of a
Yeah,
breakfast
I had
baguette.
one slice of bread with
Oh,
it.
Oh well, now we're talking. This is a breakfast sandwich, sausage and egg,
Did he have any waffles?
McMuffin. Any
Nope,
waffles?
didn't have
The
no
audience
waffles.
is interested to no waffles.
Nope.
Do we have any more questions
No bacon?
from the audience? This is now
Nope.
an ask
Actually, yeah, I did have bacon.
the
Forgot about that.
protates anything. That's what this event is now. Ask, but don't tell them. Don't tell them. You're a good sport. I'll definitely give you that. But no, I'll tell you what it's about. This is basically an ask me anything, right? If you're familiar with that sort of
Oh
thing they do. Yeah. So that's basically what this is. People come up and ask me anything. But what I'm doing is, I know most of these people. They've been here most of the times. They don't have a lot of questions, but they're nice enough to come here and stand there and look at me while I stand here. So I just talk nonsense, really. I just make stuff up. I just improvise as I go. And I don't know, they're still here anyway. So yeah. Is that sound fun? Honestly, it's not important though. I wouldn't worry too much if you miss it out. And I think it's being live streamed anyway, so you can probably catch it later. You're famous. Wave to all the people at home.
Wait, hold on. This being live streamed.
Yeah, that's right. Now,
Hey.
turn your hands
Wait,
around
what
like
you
this.
streaming for?
Okay, right? Put your things down like that, right? And then click in the things. Oh no!
Oh no.
You did it. Click your
Okay, bro.
joysticks. Pull your triggers. There.
Oh,
Look
no.
at that dismount, ladies and gentlemen. Top marks.
Well done.
Oh, you did it. You did it. Look, no, that's the wrong finger, but nice effort. Oh, tell you, Banter-AMA, anything can happen and continue to happen. Well, have you got any more for us, or do you want to make your way down to the beach again?
Oh, I did have a question, but I forgot. So, yeah.
Well, if you think about it, you can always ask again.
Yeah, I'll think about it. Thank you.
It's the pro-tates, guys, in the flesh. You'll be here all week. Tip your waitresses. Oh God, right. Well, we've got a few people on the beach I've been ignoring while we've been having fun up here, making stuff up. Divine, go ahead.
Wait.
You're still megaphone from before. What can I do you for?
Oh my goodness,
actually
that's
got one
dangerous
out.
to keep me microphoned.
I know, I forgot.
Actually, I don't know if this has been answered before in the Discord, or if someone's just told me. I don't remember, and I never went to go and look. But anyways, how do we find the pictures when you take them on the computer from the little selfie camera and stuff like that? Where would I
That's a
go
good
on
question.
my computer to find them?
So I can probably share this with you on Discord, right? Because there's a certain path you've got to go to. But basically, they go into the app's data folder, right? And if you're
Okay.
familiar with your PC, there's a folder in your user folder called app data. And in there, you've typically got 3 folders. You'll have, I forgot what one of them is called.
Roaming, local low.
Roaming.
And local.
You've got roaming, local, and local low. Well, local low is where you'll find. Oh, someone's back. Where did he go?
Oh no.
Right, local low is where you'll find the banter files. So you go local low, then it's Sidequest, then banter. In there, there's a folder called photos. There's loads of other folders, and you'll find them all in there.
Show me later, or send it to me later on Discord or something.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah, no
friend is
problem. I can do that.
behind you.
I see that. He's trying to do the
He likes you.
he's trying to do the bunny ears. People have been electrocuted for less. So I'll just put that out there.
Run.
Oh God.
I'll keep my distance then. I'll keep my distance.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's when he knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh God. Oh, I left you on megaphone again. God damn it. Sorry, go ahead, Trey.
Okay. Okay. So you know how you go on Steam and you can come into Banter in 2D mode on PC.
Yeah.
Can you do that on a Mac?
No, not yet. But we will likely add that in future. Oh no.
Oh, and there we go.
So yeah, stay tuned for that, right? There's a browser system that we use on PC which does support Mac. We just need to build out support for that. But it is something that we do want to add in future because honestly, mostly we want people to be able to build worlds on Macs because we know that a lot of people use Macs and they would use them
Yeah.
in 2D to build stuff. So that's kind of
Yeah.
a priority for us. But what's great is that because of our new SDK, when we add support for Mac to it, it's also going to have that extra benefit of adding support for Mac to Banter
So it'll
overall.
be like a Mac version, like because I know I build for Mac and PC. It'll be that option in the SDK. Build for Mac and
Yeah, exactly. Right
Oh,
now we've got Windows and Android. There'll be likely an extra one then for Mac to build for Mac as well. Exactly that.
awesome. Okay. Awesome. I look forward to that.
Yeah. Thanks, Trey. Let's see, who have we got? Is it Lee or is it Ozzy? Ozzy, have you got a question?
Go ahead, Odd.
Yeah, Lee can come up first.
Go ahead.
He was
go
there
ahead.
before me.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
okay,
go
okay,
ahead,
okay.
go ahead.
Thank you.
You
Hey,
first.
well, hello, hello,
Hey.
Shane.
How you
So
doing?
I have a little question. Is it possible to add sitting in couches or like this pear-shaped couches or something like that? Is it possible to add an option for that? Because I'm seeing people, they're always sitting like this, and could we maybe add an option to sit in them more appropriately, I think, because this is a question I'm asking because I went to Banter Space Makers beginners map, and in there was a classroom and it had chairs, and I just think that it would be a lot easier if you could just sit on them or any other suitable surface. Yeah, more like a suggestion, more
No,
than a
that's a
question.
yeah, it's a great question, and I think the TLDR answer is yes. It's technically possible already. We have a sit system, or as we like to refer to internally, a piloting system. We do want to improve on it in future and actually make it have better support for multiple people sitting on the same object together, and to be able to do that together.
Oh, come.
Oh no, you need to be electric. So yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
it's going to be improved, right? And then it'll be exactly as you described. Whether you want to sit in a chair, I mean, that's what it is,
Yeah.
folks, isn't it? Oh, we know this is simple stuff. You just give a man a chair to sit on, and he's happy. That's all he needs, right? That's all I want.
Yeah,
I get
that's
it.
all I
I'm with
need.
you.
And
Living your
can I
best
ask
life. Yeah.
one more question?
Uh-huh.
Are you thinking about making a collaboration with Apple for Sidequest on Vision Pro?
That's a great question.
Because I've seen you wearing a Vision Pro.
Yes, you did. That's right. That's
Yeah.
you noticed that in the indie spotlight.
Yeah.
That was I was kind of throwing shade to the Zuck when I did that, if I'm honest, right? That's all it was. I just wanted to throw a bit of shade. That's all that it was. I was using a piece of software called ALVR, which connects through Steam on my PC and basically makes it work as if it's a headset in Steam. The truth is, my team internally are pretty excited about being able to have Banter at least run on the Vision Pro, right? Just because it's a new technology, and if you can get over that hump now, you'll likely be able to easily support future devices too. And, there's not a lot of apps on it right now, which means you get a fair amount of attention from those that do own a headset. I mean, the truth is the biggest challenge there is adapting to a world without controllers, right? And I'm sure there's some Apple execs that are kind of kicking themselves right now that there are no controllers on the device. But yeah, we'd have to re-implement everything, all of your interactivity, all your locomotion, all the menu interaction, all of that would need to be re-implemented without controllers. I realize this is getting off topic from your original question. I think
No.
Sidequest on an Apple Vision Pro would be interesting. The truth
Yeah, I
is,
think so.
it's a bit of a mess right now with Apple and stores overall. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the situation going on with Apple, but in Europe and in the US, they're kind of getting hauled over the coals for what I would describe as malicious compliance, which is where they barely comply with the regulatory requirements to the minimum that they absolutely can, right? So you're talking about the new Digital Markets Act in the EU, which has forced Apple to open up their store. That actually only applies to the iPhone, not to any other devices that they have, including Vision Pro or even iPad, for that matter. So Sidequest on the Vision Pro is probably something that Apple today won't allow, or maybe will never allow in the future, if you know what I mean. So in truth, even if we did want to allow Sidequest to be on that headset, it likely wouldn't be possible anyway. I mean, I'll be honest, there's a few people internally who are really into Apple, and they would be pissed with me saying this, but Apple is an extremely closed ecosystem, extremely inhospitable towards anything. And they absolutely, truthfully hate developers. Maybe not hate, maybe hate's a bit harsh, right? But anybody that's ever built for them, anybody that's ever had to use the tooling, you know, even building for Apple Vision Pro, the workflows are archaic, none of it works, it's so buggy. So yeah, it's unlikely Sidequest could ever work on there. But Banter, yeah, I wouldn't say no. I guess we'll have to see what this new Quest device is going to look like, and if it focuses on hand tracking, then it makes that possibility easier, right? I'm getting off topic again though, so I'll shut up.
Okay. Thanks. Oh, by the way, that guy's underaged. I've seen him before. He was on Banter to explore the backrooms. Yeah, I noticed because he slapped me before too. And yeah, he's underaged.
Right, he didn't sound it. He didn't sound it. But
yeah, I know,
usually they're a lot more high pitched. But that's interesting. That would make sense given his behavior. But yeah, thank you. And go ahead, Lee. You're now megaphoned.
Yeah, I was wondering, have you ever thought about vector bone for attachments? Like you could put like a cell over you, you know, with your avatar, or you could be inside a little box, or just have things attached to.
Interesting. So attachments basically, or is this more like customizable outfits?
I think it's a vector bone is, isn't it? So you can attach, so you can turn yourself basically into anything. You could be sitting in a pool.
Right. So it's a sit system, like a piloting system. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not familiar with it. I'll definitely look into it. Is that something that anybody else is using that you're familiar with, or?
Sansar.
Gotcha.
Or
well, look,
Scamsar.
Well, look, I'll look into that. Yeah, just maybe I'll follow up after this if I can't find it, or maybe get a link from you, and I'll have a look into it. Yeah, if there's something there that solves the problem and can make that easier.
I think Ravioli's probably more familiar with it.
Sure.
I don't really know much about it.
Gotcha.
I've seen it, but he wanted me to ask, so I thought I would ask you.
Okay. Yeah, well, maybe I'll follow up with Ravioli on it too, and see if I can find out more info myself. Yeah, cheers for that. By the way, a shout out to our Banter Highlights event on Sunday. I'm not going to say night; it's night for me, but it's probably afternoon for a lot of you. Myself and Lee, we're going to get an update on the next part of this amazing song about Microsoft called Micro Penis Through the Windows. I haven't even heard the second part yet. It is the second part.
Sorry, I did change it.
Oh, no part 2?
Part 2 will be next week. I just wanted to keep with the times. No, this is going to be about falling in love with your digital assistant.
Oh, okay, right. I heard about this.
Okay. Sorry. I, it was so close to Scarlett Johansson incident that I'd like to go ahead and get it out.
That makes a lot of sense. And apologies, I know I megaphoned and my dogs went buck daft there. So I know you guys all heard it. I'm assuming you heard it, did you?
Yep.
I heard
Glad,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, it
I
does
heard
bother me.
it. So sorry.
I mean, like a tiny little bark.
Okay, yeah. So that's awesome, right? Banter highlights. Come and check that out. It's a rundown on everything that's been happening during the week in Banter. So yeah. Let's see, what have we got? 10 minutes left. Have we got Faye? Is Faye here? Faye in the back anywhere? Anybody? No? No, Faye's not here. That's okay, not to worry. Okay, let's see. Iraxer, what
Hello.
have you got for us?
Well, I wanted to ask kind of a follow-up question about the new SDK.
Okay.
And I think I'll talk for some people that are here, like Trey and myself, that we're kind of new in Unity and with scripting and a lot of stuff that kind of complicates the journey for us. So I wanted to ask if is there gonna be like a wiki or some page that can like compile tutorials and stuff? Because I know there's already like the events and sets videos of tutorials, but I think there are many people that learn better by reading like an article and having all the steps in text format, not all of video.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really interesting. We generally try to cater to both when we can, right? When it comes to documentation and stuff like that. But I mean, to answer your question specifically, I mean, I guess yes to all of the above. The SDK will come with
Okay.
built-in samples, quick start examples, full-blown polished, ready-to-go game examples. There'll be
Okay.
loads of documentation on our website showing you how everything works, screenshots, how all of the different parts of the Unity plugin will work. Then when it comes to Unity itself, right, there is an enormous plethora of tutorials online on different things you can do in Unity, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
out of the scope of what we're doing, but it's still worth mentioning because it's honestly great. But we'll link to all of those extra resources that we can find from our own docs, right? So that it's a bit easier just to get your hands on them. And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, other than that, scripting in the new SDK is going to be either JavaScript or Unity visual scripting, right? And what's great about that is that both of those things already exist, have existed for a long time. There is tons of material online to show you how to get started with JavaScript or how to get started with Unity scripting, Unity visual scripting. It's all on their website. Loads of tutorials, loads of guides, lots and lots of information. If you want to take the time to read through all of it, I'm sure you'll have enough material to keep you going for weeks and months and years and decades and however long you really want to invest in it, honestly.
Okay. That's that's useful. Thanks. And just another kind of small, not question, it's just also kind of follow-up of the question from Lee, from the attachments. I told Bobworks that I was looking this other platform Resonate, and I found some things like Lee said, that attachments, you could attach objects to your body and use it like
Sure.
accessories.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
mean, I
if
think for us, you know, when we start to think about these sorts of questions, the first thing that kind of comes to mind is, you know, how can we achieve something like this without having to, you know, compromise on some other important parts, like especially
yeah.
performance, right? And I think when I think about a scenario where attachments are available and you can have, you know, several or one or more attachments attached to your body, I immediately start to think about, you know, what's the impact of that when I do it 20x, 30x, 50x. We've got all of those people in a space together. And the unfortunate thing is that, yeah, I've seen Resonate. It's a very interesting platform. It's obviously a reincarnation of Neos VR, right? Which is basically one of the oldest VR platforms out there, and has been developed by geniuses behind the scenes in terms of what they're building. But it doesn't run on Quest. It's not performant enough to be able to handle the level of device that we want to be able to cater for. So the truth is, I honestly don't know. I would say that when it comes to in the future, anything could be possible. We just need to weigh up the impact of that, and maybe we need to decide, okay, this can be an experience we can have, but we need to lower our expectations on the total number of people that we can have in a room, or we need to take some other kind of consideration. Now, I'll tell you right now, we have an attachment system. It's in this space. For a lot of you, you might see there's some video controls attached to your hand. That's the attachment system.
Yeah.
It's already running. We've already had that in here for quite a while. Honestly, we could do with probably overhauling it and building an improved version. And I've actually got some grandiose the ideas in my mind that the sit system and the attachment system is kind of the same thing. The only difference is whether it's you attaching to it or it attaching to you, and maybe there's some logic in there that can unify those things and bring it all together. But right now, yeah, you can do attachments to any part of your body in specific worlds, right? It's the world
Yeah.
itself that controls that attachment. But any old arbitrary avatars being able to add custom attachments to their bodies equates to worlds that are going to crash your device, and that's something that we'd really like to avoid, if at all possible.
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay,
Trey, go ahead.
I've asked this question before, and I know you said you're looking for somebody to create a system. I think there was something like that to answer, but
Sure.
I'm thinking like, you remember in Allspace how we had access, like using that the Allspace SDK, we could upload like custom assets to like our own like asset folder, and then we can
Sure.
access that asset folder from within the headset in Allspace. And then
Yes.
like we can literally click on it, it'll pop up in our space, and then from within Allspace, we were able to like click on it and move it around, rescale it or make it big or small. Or you can
Yes.
I would like
I'm,
is there
I'm
some
familiar.
kind of
It's
system? Yes.
it's the world builder, right? It's the world builder. I mean,
Yes.
believe it or not, I built the first world builder in Altspace. I built it myself.
Oh, okay.
It was called
Okay.
Shane's Editor, and the world builder you're talking about was very much based upon the idea of the world builder that I created, and it had much of the same capability. You didn't have to necessarily upload your own assets, but you could just go on to Sketchfab and search and pull in anything you wanted. Or at the time, you could go onto Google Poly and search and bring in anything you wanted. And that honestly is barely scraping the surface when it comes to what was capable within that. So yeah, I mean, I guess the main point I'm trying to put across there is I totally get it, and it's something that kind of started me out on the journey that's led to us all being here tonight. So it's something that I take pretty seriously. Right now, we have some more fundamental priorities that we need to resolve within the application first, right?
Okay.
We need to make sure that onboarding and the menu and a bunch of really important core parts of the game are sorted first. So that's why we can't prioritize this right now, right? So this is why, last time when you asked me about this, I said to you that I'd love if somebody in the community wanted to make this, because I would love to get behind it. If somebody wants to make a marketplace for kit bundles, because that's what you're talking about, kit bundles.
Yes,
We
yes,
already
yes.
have support fundamentally in our infrastructure for kit bundles. You can make them right now today with our builder that you've got in Unity. Trey, you can just drag prefabs into that little box where you're dragging your scene file. If you drag prefabs, it will make you a kit bundle instead. You can immediately upload that, link it to your space, and be able to spawn objects inside of the space definition, right? But
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
Yeah, we've got
where
the
I find that
backbone.
documentation.
It's in our docs on the Banter website.
Okay, I'm about to go look
Kit
at that.
bundle and SQ kit item. It's actually been in there for quite a long time. Most
I'll probably
recently,
scan by it. I'll probably scan by it.
Sure. Well, like I say, that's the backbone infrastructure. It doesn't really deliver what you're asking for, which is a fully polished, ready to go end user world building system, right? Integrated into VR. I mean, the truth is, it's definitely something that we want to build, but like I said, there's too many big priorities in between, and you know,
I
it's
understand.
going to be months, maybe even a year before we get to the point where we can truly build something like that out. And that's why I'll keep saying in the meantime, if anybody does want to build something like that, you have an opportunity to, build out something great that, is yours and you have complete control over, and we'll be more than happy to endorse it. But as it stands right now, it's just not a huge priority for us, right? There's just too many other big things that we have to address first. But as soon as it comes to that time, if it's not something that anybody has put any meaningful effort into, then you got it, Trey. As soon as it's coming, you'll
Okay,
be the first
got
one to know.
you. Thank you, because I'm just saying,
Sure.
because it helped me, like, I enjoyed, like, when I was, it helped me build better. Like, I can easily just build something, and I can easily move it around within the world,
Yes.
instead of having to do it in Unity and try to position in Unity to make sure it lines up right in the world. So, okay,
Yeah. No, I get you.
okay. I'll take a look at that documentation.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cheers, Trey. Okay, so look, I think we're actually 3 minutes over, guys. Yunji's event is already started. Yunji's event is a hugely popular event, so I highly recommend that you guys go and check that out. It's a concert. Yunji